Alright, let's check out the trigger on this Kimber. Got the tumbler going, so you probably hear some rattling. I know they say you can dry fire these modern rifles and stuff, but I still don't like doing it. Throw a case in there. Take up some of that action on there. It's hard to do this one-handed, so I've checked it a few times already. It's breaking between 3 3/4 and 3 pounds. Of course, when you try it, when you actuate these triggers, you want to try to get it square on the shoe and pull back as straight as you can. So see what it broke out. 3 1/4 there, so outs. I'll pop it a few more times to get an average. Alright, the next one broke about 3 3/4 pounds. And I know these triggers here, or springs, they're good, but they're probably not the greatest, but plenty good to do what we're doing here. But regardless, I'd like to see it around 2 pounds personally. But between 2 to 3, it might as well be 50 pounds. But we're going to pull this thing out of the stock here and make an adjustment to it. Okay, so I guess Kimber does not think anybody's qualified to do anything, and as crazy as people have gotten these days, I don't really, well, yeah, I do. Everybody wants to sue everybody for nothing. Regardless, they should post the torque specs on the base and the stock screws. They don't publish it in their manuals, online, anywhere. Can't find the information anywhere. So I called Kimber up, talked to a nice fellow, I think his name was Bruce. On this chassis gun, he told me the torque specs right from the Kimber manufacturer. 65 inch-pounds on the stock screws. Base screws do not exceed 22 pounds according to Kimber, so that's where we're at there. Alright, I got this chassis pulled out. For a lot of folks, including myself, will show you the inside of this chassis. Where the front stock screw is, they got a nylock nut up there, which that's nice to keep it from rattling out or vibrating out. There's the chassis there. Accuracy International magazine, as far as I understand. And it's got a nice release button there. I'll just show you that trigger on that Kimber here. So you got some, looks like, of course you can use, in the past I've always used like red nail polish to set that, and I swear I think that's what it is. I don't believe it's thread locker, but it might be some kind of thread locker they have. But I do actually believe it's nail polish. It certainly feels like an enamel. But we'll piddle with this thing and see what we can get out of it. Alright, checking out the fitment on our hex key on that trigger there. 5/64 fits it, but I'm guessing this is actually metric, because 2mm certainly does fits it perfectly. So 2mm, quarter on the nut there. Alright, I got our 1/4 inch nut backed off there. So on this particular Kimber trigger here, you thread that clockwise or inwards, it adds poundage to it, and backing it out reduces it. So the bottom adjustment screw is for the pound of pull, and I'm not going to get into the other adjustment screws. I'll just, if you don't, I don't know how to put this, if you don't know what you're doing, obviously get someone that does to adjust your trigger. But I'm trying to think how to word this. without proper knowledge, I wouldn't recommend adjusting. Then when you adjust the trigger, you got to check it for bump fire and everything else, which it's kind of detailed. Bolt slam, you can get these things firing when you close the bolt. If you don't know what you're doing, you can get in a dangerous condition, so just be careful. Alright, so I got what I need to out of it. One revolution, got it down to 2 pounds. Show you here, it'll even match up with our paint line, so that's kind of cool. Check it here. 1.75 pounds. Last two broke right at 2 pounds, so that's exactly what we want. I'm not going to go any lighter. I know my buddy's competent, but I don't know what he's planning on doing with this rifle, but we're not getting into ounces on this thing, so 2 pounds is about perfect for a bench gun for the average Joe. We're not silhouette shooting or anything like that, or bench rest, but I'll break it a few more times. I'll check it, make sure we don't have any issues with the trigger, so pull it one more time here. Alright, it's breaking at 2 pounds perfectly. I'm going to tighten everything up and put a dab of sealant on there to lock it in place. Alright, we got our nut locked down, dogged in. We still need to put some sealant on it, but I'll show you here on this piece of brass. Keep it. Let's see here how I can do this. There we go. Show you here. Look at that primer. That's from all that dry firing. That's why I like to have a case in there to minimize the travel on your firing pin. At least it will cushion it a little bit, in my theory. Alright, so the Kimber trigger's all done. Breaking at a beautiful 2 pounds with no creep or over travel. Very, very nice. My buddy, I don't think that he hunts, so I got it at 2 pounds for him to do some bench work. Personally, I would not recommend the average person hunting with the trigger much less than probably 3 pounds. It's just a whole bunch of situations involved in the hunting, in the field, adrenaline, gloves, that sort of thing, to lighten them up too much. So anyway, so working real good. I think my friend will be well pleased. Alright, so grab some of the old lady's clear coat here. She didn't have any Ferrari red, so we'll throw a dab of clear on it. I'll let that dry up, and we'll re-torque, set our stock up with our chassis, put the barrel back in the chassis and torque it to 65 inch-pounds, and we'll be good to go. Let's check one last time on our trigger pull. Zeroed out. And I got a fat cat squalling here in the background. Tumbler going on the fat cat. Just under 2 pounds, so we're square.